Good morning. Our objective today, or our focus of today's lesson, is compare and contrast. Today, you will be able to find the meaning of the vocabulary we use when comparing and contrasting. Today's focus is on note taking and vocabulary. Watch the video, write definitions and parts of speech in your notebooks using the three-column format. Take a picture and turn it in. Then take the quiz with me and see how you do.
Vocabulary. We're comparing and contrasting. Let's get it. Everybody's doing it. In fact, we do it all the time. We compare and contrast when we're in the store deciding what cereal to buy. We compare and contrast when we pick up what movie to see or what player we want for our fantasy football league. I'll break it down for you. Check. Comparing and contrasting, get with it. That's when you think how things are similar and different. When I compare things, I talk about how they're the same. When I contrast, it's the differences that I name. I analyze how they're similar and different. I look at them close, yeah, I get specific. I compare and contrast two books, three foods, two unicorn dudes named Hofi and Stu. Yeah, that's how we do. But what's even wiser, before I write, I'ma use a graphic organizer, a Venn diagram. Yeah, I'll show you that. I just draw two circles that overlap. In the middle, I write whatever's the same, just list the differences in the other spaces. With three things to compare, what should I do then? I could add a third circle, so then let's get it in. I compare when I say how things are similar, like dollhouses and ponies, both miniature. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? I compare when I say how things are similar or the same. Yeah, I bet that sounds so familiar. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? Okay, I have to write an essay. Here's the prompt. Would you rather be a wolf or a domesticated dog? Domesticated dog is like a pet. I'ma compare and contrast. That'll help me pick. I use transition words to help my readers know that I'm comparing and contrasting. Here we go. First, I'll compare how they're the same. Both have fur coats for the wind, snow, and rain. Domesticated dogs love to play together. Similarly, wolf puppies will play in any weather. Pet dogs have paws, wolves do as well. Likewise, they both will eat meat. Can you tell? To see how they're different, let's contrast. Most wolves have longer teeth, and that's a fact. If a wolf gets sick, there's no medicine. In contrast, pets go to the vet, they let them in. Domesticated dogs don't worry about food. They get fed in a bowl. I bet they love it too. Unlike a wolf, which has to hunt, and if it can't find much food, they go hungry for months. A wolf can run free, do anything it pleases, while domesticated doggies are tied up with leashes. So while I might like to be a pet dog for a while, I want to be free. That's the call of the wild. I'm a wolf. I compare when I say how things are similar, like dollhouses and ponies, both miniature. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? I compare when I say how things are similar or the same. Yeah, I bet that sounds so familiar. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it?
All right, our next step is to take notes using the three-column format. So on my screen, you can see my three-column notes, and they're three columns because there's one column, two columns, and three columns. All right, so I would like you to pause this video and take a moment to set up your three-column notes. I used any old object to help me make my straight lines, like if you have a book or a card, you can do that, or you can simply draw the lines. They don't have to be perfect. You do need to label each column. This column is going to have the word or the vocabulary word. This column is going to have the part of speech of the word, and the third column is going to have the definition. And I titled my notes Vocabulary for Compare and Contrast, because we are talking about how to compare and contrast. And the first step in learning a skill is to understand the vocabulary you're going to see when you use this skill. All right, pause this video, set your notes up, and when you're ready, come back. Right, our next step is to find the vocabulary words that we need to define using our notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the definitions and the words and the parts of speech. Pause the video between each word so that you can write them down in your notebook. All right, the first word is compare. The word is compare. The part of speech is it's a verb. The definition is to explain how something is similar to something else. Again, one more time. The vocabulary word is compare. The part of speech is it's a verb. It's an action, something that you do, right? So the meaning is to explain how something is similar to something else. All right, pause the video and go write the word compare, the part of speech, and definition in your notebook. All right, so here's an example of what I mean. We're doing the word compare. So you would write the word compare under the column that says the word. This is the word we're going to define. We said that the part of speech for the word compare was a verb. And we said the definition was to explain how something is similar to something else. All right, then I'm going to carefully draw a line to separate my vocabulary words. All right, so now when you take the quiz, you should have these 3 column notes with you so that it will help you answer the questions in the vocabulary quiz. All right, let's go learn the next word. Next word. The word is contrast. The part of speech, it's a verb or an action. The definition, it means to explain how something is different from something else. Right? The word is contrast. The part of speech is a verb. And the definition, it means to explain how something is different from something else. Your next step, pause the video, write the word contrast, the part of speech, and its definition. All right, just to quickly show what it looks like in my notebook, I wrote the word contrast in the column for the word. I wrote the part of speech is that it's a verb, and I wrote the definition to explain how something is different to something else. All right, I think we're getting the hang of this. Let's go to the next word. The next word is different. It is an adjective, and it means not the same as another thing. Unlike, the vocabulary word is different. The part of speech is adjective, and it means not the same as another thing. Unlike. So pause the video, and just as you did with compare and contrast, you're going to use the word different in column 1. You're going to write the part of speech is that it's an adjective, and then you're going to write the meaning or the definition, not the same as another thing, unlike. Next word. The vocabulary word is similar. It is an adjective, and it means very much the same as something. All right, so pause the video. In the column that says word, you're going to write the word similar. The part of speech is an adjective. It means it describes a noun, and its definition is very much the same as something. Our next vocabulary word, specific. Its part of speech is an adjective. It describes a noun, and its definition, it means exact or particular. The word specific, the part of speech is adjective, and it means exact or particular. Pause the video and write those in your notes. Our next vocabulary word is a phrase, transition word. So under the column for word, you're going to write both words, transition word. In the part of speech, it is a noun, and its definition is a word or phrase used in writing to connect ideas. The vocabulary word, transition word. The part of speech, noun. The definition, it means a word or phrase used in writing to connect ideas. Pause the video. Write these in your notebook in your 3-column notes. Our last vocabulary word is Venn diagram. Its part of speech is it's a noun, and its definition, it means a type of chart that uses overlapping circles to show shared and distinct characteristics among and between things. Again, the vocabulary word is Venn diagram. Its part of speech is noun, and its definition is it's a type of chart that uses overlapping circles to show shared and distinct characteristics among and between things. Pause the video. Write this word in your notebook. All right, so I've completed my 3-column notes. I have my title, vocabulary, compare and contrast. I have my titles of my 3 columns. The first column shows you the vocabulary word. The second column shows you what part of speech that word is. And the third column is the definition. And I paused the video and I wrote all 7 vocabulary words. I made sure to include the part of speech, and I wrote the definition. All right, if you're not finished, that's okay. You can go back to the video and pause it at any step that you are at. Our third and final step of today's lesson is to play the vocabulary game. This game is fun. It has music, and for every answer we get correct, we add instruments. Up here at the top, you can see our score. For every answer we get correct, you add an instrument. All right, let's see if we can get all the instruments. I have my notes with me to help me because it's a vocabulary game, which means they're probably going to talk about what the word means, the name of the word, or its part of speech. Let's go. All right. Drag the right word to its definition. So they give you the definition. Very much the same as something. Then they give you 3 words, similar, different, and specific. So if I look at my 3-column notes, I'm going to look for the word, the definition on my 3rd column, very much the same as something. I go down, compare, to explain. Nope. Contrast, to explain. Nope. Different, not the same as. Nope. Similar, very much the same as something. Oh, here's the word similar. All right, drag the missing word into place. Oh, we have 1 point. We have to fill in the blank with one of these words, Venn diagram, transition word, or specific. You have to figure out the best one to put in as blank. A blank is a useful tool to use when writing about how 2 things are alike and how they differ. Well, let's see. A blank is a useful tool to use when writing about how two things are alike and how they differ. Specific, that's an adjective. It looks like we're looking for a tool, which would be a noun because it's a thing. Transition word, that is a noun, but a transition word is a useful tool to use when writing about how two things are alike and how they differ. Or is it a Venn diagram is a useful tool to use when writing about how two things are alike and how they differ. Transition words are usually words or phrases. A Venn diagram is a type of chart, and a type of chart you can also say is a tool. I'm going to choose Venn diagram. Here's our symbol. Drag the right word to its definition. Not the same as another thing, unlike. That could be different, it could be specific, or it could be compared. Again, I'm going to go to my notes, look at the third column under definition, and find which word has the definition. Not the same as another thing, unlike. Let's see. Compare is to explain how something is similar. No, not the same. Contrast, to explain how something is different to something else. Not the same. Different means not the same as another thing, unlike. Oh, that matches that definition exactly. So this must mean different. All right, we have one more point. Drag the missing word into place. Again, we're going to find the word that belongs in the blank. My sister pointed to a blank spot on the map and asked me to meet her on that exact corner later that day. Let's see, we can choose compare, specific, or contrast. My sister pointed to a blank spot on the map and asked me to meet her on that exact corner later that day. Oh, that word exact. I've seen that word exact. Oh, if I look at the word specific in my notes and I look at its definition, it says exact. I'm going to try it. My sister pointed to a specific spot on the map and asked me to meet her on that exact corner later that day. My sister pointed to a compare spot. That doesn't make much sense. My sister pointed to a contrast spot. That doesn't make much sense either, so it must be specific. Oh, we got our drum. Drag the right word to its definition. To explain how something is similar to something else. To explain how something is similar to something else. Is it transition? Is it compare? Or is it contrast? Again, I'm going to go to my notes. I'm going to try to find the definition to explain how something is similar to something else. So I have compare to explain how something is similar to something else. Oh, so it must be compare because the word similar is in that definition and the word similar is on the one on the screen. So I'm going to choose compare. Oh, we got another point. Drag the missing word into place. Again, we're going to fill in the blank with a word transition, similar, or different. Her eyes are two blank colors. One is brown and the other is green. Her eyes are two blank colors. One is brown and the other is green. Let me see what I know. Oh, one is brown and the other is green. I know that brown is not the same as green. I know that the word similar is talking about things that are the same. I know that a transition word is words. Oh, it must be different. Not the same as another thing or unlike. So brown and green are not alike. So I'm going to say her eyes are two different colors. Oh, added our other thing. All right, drag over the word that goes best with this image. Here's a list of words. Similarly, meanwhile, however, furthermore, next, finally. Does that mean different? Doesn't make much sense. Specific? That doesn't make much sense. Oh, These are a group of words, and transition words are a group of words that we use when we compare and contrast. So I'm going to say that these are transition words. Ooh, another point. We're going to drag the missing word into place. The horses looked blank to each other. They had the same white markings on their foreheads. So we can choose between different, similar, and specific. I know that the word different means not the same or unlike each other. The word similar means that they look about the same, and the word specific is exact, so they would look exactly the same. The horses looked blank to each other. They had the same white markings on their foreheads. The horses look specific to each other. That doesn't sound right. The horses look similar to each other, or the horses look different to each other. Oh, both similar or different would fit in that. So let's go to the second part of the sentence. They had the same white markings on their foreheads. Oh, they said the word same. Different is not the same, and similar is the same. I'm going to go with similar. Next instrument. All right, drag over the word that goes best with the image. This is a picture of a similar. This is a picture of a transition word. There are no words. Oh, it is a picture of a Venn diagram. And a Venn diagram is a type of chart that uses overlapping circles. And these are circles, so it must be a Venn diagram. All right, drag the missing word into place. My teacher asked me to use more blank, like similarly and however, in my writing to show the relationship between my ideas. We can choose Venn diagrams, transition words, or specifics. My teacher asked me to use more Venn diagrams like similarly and however in my writing to show the relationship between my ideas. We just saw that Venn diagrams were two circles. I didn't see any words, so you wouldn't write words like similarly or however. My teacher asked me to use more specifics. My teacher asked me to use more exacts, like similarly and however in my writing. How about my teacher asked me to use more transition words, like similarly and however in my writing to show the relationship between my ideas. Yes, we write words. I'm going to go with transition words. More instruments. Drag the right word to its definition to explain how something is different from something else. We have compare, transition, or contrast. I'm going to go to my notes, read my definitions, and find out when this is to explain how something is different from something else. So word number one is compare, to explain how something is similar. Oh, that's not the same. So the next word of contrast, to explain how something is different to something else. Oh, you're right. We're gonna contrast when we talk about how something is different. Woohoo! We're getting up there. Drag the missing word into place. Janine was asked to blank the twin girls, so she began explaining all of the things they had in common. So we have to choose between specific, contrast, or compare. Janine was asked to blank the twin girls, so she began explaining all of the things they had in common. So if they have things in common that's the same, which one? Specific is exact. We're not trying to figure out how exactly they're the same. So how about contrast? When we contrast, we're finding how something is different. But we're trying to find the stuff they have in common or the same. So it can't be contrast. Oh, to compare is how to explain how something is. Compare is to explain how something is similar to something else. So, are they comparing? I think they're comparing. Let's check. Awesome. We're almost there. Drag the right word to the word that means the same thing. So we have precise or definite. Compare. Nope, that's how going to choose? Precise, definite, is specific. Ooh, one more. Drag the missing word into place. Her art teacher told her to blank the two photographs, which made her realize how different the animals looked in each image. Her art teacher told her to blank the two photographs, which made her realize how different the animals looked in each image. Transition. Her art teacher told her to transition the two photographs. Her art teacher told her to specific the two photographs. That doesn't make much sense. Contrast. Her art teacher told her to contrast the two photographs. Oh, and then later on I see which made me realize how different the animals looked in each image. Let me go check my definition for contrast. To explain how something is different from something else. Oh, so her art teacher must have told her to contrast the two photographs. There we go. Good job, boys and girls. We did it. All right. Today, our objective was to focus on the vocabulary for compare and contrast. Please keep these notes in your notebook so that you can use them for the upcoming lessons. We will continue to be working on comparing and contrasting.